Welcome, guys. This is Beyond the Whistle with Ray and Sundance. We've got Ray joining us tonight, and we've got Sundance as well. Ray is the Chargers owner, for those of you who don't know who either of them are. And then Sundance is the new guy that used to be with us a long time ago too. So he's not really the new guy, but he kind of is. He's the Giants owner. So welcome them to the show. Ray, how are you?
Hey, what's good, man? Well, man.
Sundance, how are you?
Doing great, Canes. Thanks for having me on the show. Good
Yep.
to meet you, Ray.
Nice to meet you too, bro.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have both of you here. We have plenty of topics to get to, so let's go on and jump straight into it. What the first topic of discussion is going to be what you guys think is the better conference between the AFC and the NFC. And I'm going to let Ray start with this one.
Um, Usually I'll be biased. It's my own division, but I got to be fair. If you look at the NFL standings, you see a lot of NFC teams in the top 10. You got the Rams, the Eagles. I'm gonna have to go with the NFC, bro.
We didn't hear the last part of that. We had some technical difficulties there.
I was gonna say I got to go with the NFC.
NFC. Okay. Sundance.
Okay. Well, now let me tell you here. I was breaking down the standings of what I saw here, and the two best teams in the NFL is the Broncos at 8-1, and then the Rams at 8-1. Now, did those two teams play this year? I'm pretty sure the Rams played the Broncos. Is that right? Do you guys know?
I think so. I'm not
Now the
100% sure, but I think so.
I couldn't look up who the one loss for the Broncos was, but I think it was the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. And then you look down the list, you got Chiefs at 6-2, Texans 6-3. It looks good. And then you have this one ball club that is sneaking up the rankings, and that is your Titans. Yours truly, Vols. You get your 4-2-1, right?
Yep.
So you guys are looking good, but in the NFC, it's looking pretty good too. It's a tighter playoff race, in my opinion. The NFC, that you still have more than 6 teams in play, and then in the AFC, I think the playoff picture is pretty much set, unless you see a team like the Jags or the Jets just collapse. It looks pretty set. But if you look at the overall records of who would make the playoffs today, the AFC is 34-14-1, and the NFC is 36-13-1. So the NFC has the edge, and the reason I give them the edge as well is because the Broncos have, if I'm not mistaken, 2 wins. So I
Yep.
give the edge to the NFC. They kind of got the top dogs like Amazing in there, who won I think the preseason tournament, and you got the Rams, who are just kind of shocking people right now, and then you got a really tough NFC South with Saints, Panthers, Bucks, all kind of tight race. I give the edge to the NFC too. They look good. They look strong right now.
It's probably gonna be the only time tonight, hopefully, that y'all agree. Both of you got NFC. I think I think the next topic you all will probably agree as well. So I'm interested to see what y'all have to say. But it's the AFC North.
Shout out to terrorizing the Jets too, though. I mean, he's doing good for that team. It's not the best rated team. Doesn't have the highest rated players across the board. So and then, but the biggest reason also to finish up the two best teams in the AFC, they didn't even play. So we got to give it to Tennessee. But yeah, okay, I'm done with that one.
Gotcha. All right. Like I was saying, one thing I think both of y'all will be able to agree on. Hopefully, this is the last time tonight y'all will agree on anything. That's the AFC North. I think everybody in the league can agree. That's by far the worst division
Is there a
in
question for
MHM.
that one?
Yeah, there is. We're gonna get into it right now. Sundance, what's your opinion on the AFC North? Uh, just so y'all know, the image will be popping up right here in just a second. Since he made these images, and as you can see on the image, he put a Game of Thrones, the throne, in the image with AFC North. So I don't know if that's a hidden message with him or what, but Sundance, what's your opinion?
This has got to be the sorriest division. I mean, arguably in the history of any online Madden franchise, and that is putting it nicely. And let me explain to you why. So if you combine win and losses of all four teams in the AFC North, they are 7-24. Okay, they have scored a total. This is through midway point in the season, 466 points total, all four teams, averaging 15 points per game. They have allowed 701 points, 22.6 points per game allowed. So they're allowing as a division one touchdown more than they're scoring. And this was the most mind-boggling stat that I found looking into the AFC North. They have one win outside of the division. And who is this one win against? Tell me who it is. It is your boy, Vols. It's your boy, Mr. Denim, with the Steelers. Steelers have a solid roster, so there's no excuse. There's no excuse to give this sorry division any kind of win outside, because they're just not looking strong right now. And I'm really looking for. I expected more out of some of the folks in the division, but anyways, I'll leave it there.
Browns.
I'll leave it there.
The Browns, I call it out. He's good. He can play. So, but season ain't over. It's only halfway.
Yeah, I tell you. I mean, they got good young quarterbacks there, and you have Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. You have Baker Mayfield, so maybe the future will look a little bit brighter. But it's pretty sorry. It's pretty sorry. So I don't know. It's pretty bad. I mean, and then what's up? I mean, you got Cincy in there, puts together a pretty stout roster, but I think it starts with his quarterback. I mean, we debated in the chat, and this guy still clings to Andy to what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name, Dalton or whatever.
Dalton,
I mean, Andy Dalton. I mean, you gotta cut him loose. You gotta let him go. It's just not cutting it.
First off, since he doesn't appreciate offensive linemen the way he should, I don't think he gets it. And secondly, just based on his feelings about Dylan Cantrell that Frank picked up a free agency, yeah, he got to play a little bit more. He got to get a little bit better understanding, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead. Were you saying something? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We can get to the next question.
All right. Well, we're gonna stay in the AFC North real quick. I got one final question. Who's the winner of the division?
The Browns.
Browns.
Plays game. Browns.
Sundance. What do you think?
With this one, I got to go. I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go. I think he's going to turn it around. He's got a solid roster, top down. I got to go with the Steelers because he's got the best players. So maybe he pulls it through. I don't know. Can they all tie for just last place in the division? I don't know.
I've got a feeling one of them is going to win the division. Whoever wins it is going to have a losing record.
Listen. This is the perfect example of why the NFL needs to change rules that division winners should not get automatic playoff bids. Because come on, man, come on.
All right, moving on.
On the worst division in the league.
Do what, Ray?
I said enough on the worst division in the league. Next question.
We're gonna switch from the worst division of the league to the best division. What's the best division in the league, Sundance?
Man, this one's tough. I was looking at a lot of divisions. I think at the beginning of the year, people probably would have said AFC South at the start, right? And they still look tough. But I gotta look, man. The top dogs in that league kind of lost to a guy who's out of the playoffs right now. If the season ended today, so I kind of gotta give the edge to the AFC West, if I'm not mistaken, because we got the surprise Broncos looking really strong, have just shocked people. They got the 7 wins, which is a little weak, so they could be pretenders in terms of being that much of a top dog. But then you got Chiefs in that division, and Bread's always been a powerhouse, right? I mean, that's not changing. Right. So I might give the overall edge to them because also their overall record as a division is 20-11, and AFC South's only 19-12-1. So I got to give the edge to AFC West as of right now with the number 1 and 2 seeds. It looks like in the AFC.
What's your thoughts, Ray?
I agree with them to a degree, but I gave the edge to the NFC South. They're overall, they got all teams in first spot. The AFC West, I don't think the Raiders, they're gonna finish under 500, maybe.
Sounds like
I
Ray again.
to be honest, even if I finish 9-7 or 10-6, I'll probably still miss the playoffs because the AFC South. Look at Frank; he's 4-4. He's making a climb. So it's going to be tough to get a wild card spot in the AFC West. You got to be atop the division.
Yeah, I mean, you would think one of those teams in the AFC West is going to get one wild card, and then it looks like the other one's probably going to go to the AFC South.
But it's possible. I'm winning games, so.
Oh yeah, I mean anybody's.
We're 4-3, so we'll see what happens when I play the Broncos in 2 weeks. If I can win that one, it'll be a different outlook. We talking different.
Oh yeah, definitely. Any more thoughts on the best division, or we kind of settled that?
Yeah, shout out to OMG for he said he wanted some time on the show. I seen him in chat, so
All right.
Oh, I got something for him later.
OMG.
Let's go. Next question,
I think he's here, so let's stick around.
She's running in like fucking SmackDown and shit.
Yeah. All right. So who's got the most to prove as an owner? Or actually, no, wait, I got ahead of myself. Top owner. Who's top owner, Ray?
All right, this one's hard, very very hard for me to say, but you can't deny the history. And when you have 2 Super Bowls in MHU, even if you're not playing few first games in the beginning of the cycle, man, you got to go with Brett, because I feel like at any time he can pick up the sticks, and he did a few times this season. You see him play and dominate and look, and do it with the passing game. So, yeah, man, you got to go with Brett.
Man, I hold on a second there, because you got the Rams and the Broncos 8-1, but like you said, Brett has history to give respect to him. But I think the top owner right now has to be amazing. He's got 1 loss. He does have 1 tie, both of which were very, very close games, and he won the preseason tourney. If I'm not mistaken, I wasn't in the league at that time, but I understand he won the preseason tourney. So I got to give the edge. I got to give the edge to Amazing right now, who has the number 2 seed in the NFC as of right now, just behind the Rams. But I got to give it to Amazing until otherwise shown. But I mean, Brett, obviously, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, I think it's indisputable as time goes on that he has it. But I'm giving it to Amazing right now since he won the tourney.
The Super Bowl, that's 3. That's he'd won the Super Bowl the back-to-back opening years. That's So that's it's a good argument.
So what do we value more? Super Bowl wins or preseason tourney wins?
Ooh.
But the owner I named has both, so
Well, hey, listen, those Super Bowls.
He doesn't have preseason wins, but he got Super Bowls and.
Yeah, but every year's a new Madden, so it looks like the guy with the hot hand is Amazing right now. So I gotta hand it to him as the top dog right now.
Well, what are the records?
Chiefs 6-2, Eagles 6-1-1. So Eagles have a 0.5 difference to their advantage since they don't have 2 losses. But I think Brett, one of his losses in his defense was a sim loss. I haven't kept up with all those.
Both losses of Brett as sim. Both of them were to Broncos, to sims.
Wow. So Broncos have 2 wins, both against the Chiefs. Is that serious?
Yep. And they were simulations. They were forced wins.
Ooh, Broncos, man. I think they're a pretender.
No, I would vouch for Christian on that one. Christian could ball.
I guess we'll see. I guess the playoffs will show that. I mean, he's pretty much in the playoffs, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'll double bet on that one. Double down.
All right, let's Let's move on to the next topic. Who's the one owner that has the most to prove? And whoever wants to take it can take it.
Hey, listen. All right, I'm going to be a little biased here. All right, you got a guy who was in the founding of the league and flaked out. Now he's back. I got to go with myself here. I got a lot to prove. You know, I'm a new kid on the block, technically speaking. I was in it for 1 year, I think, losing to you in the playoffs, and then kind of got off Madden a little bit. And I don't know, man. I think Sundance Kid, myself, has a lot to prove this year, trying to earn respect in the league. So trying to go out there and just do some stuff, earn respect. But again, I'm the new kid on the block. Don't know a lot of peeps. So, I could be wrong with a lot of bad blood in history, but I got a lot to prove myself. So being a little biased.
Ray, your thoughts?
I'm going with the league transfer, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Who?
Browns taking your
Browns.
dog
Okay.
tag.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a PS4 tag. That division that's an easy 6 wins per season. You know, and the Browns are pretty good. They have a good defense. Fine, so that's a little bit.
A little bit more technical difficulty there for Ray. You're kind of
Can you
fading
hear
out.
me?
Yep, you're better now.
Oh,
Repeat all that real quick.
okay.
We heard Browns.
Yeah, I was saying Browns, man. You know, he's got the team. He's got the young quarterback. He's got the young players, defense and offense.
All right. Any thought to that, Sundance? Browns, most to prove?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know the history to him, but I mean, again, I still think again it kind of sounds a little weird with it being myself, but I just feel like I got a lot to prove in the league, get some respect, and try to win some ball games. So I don't know,
Well,
man.
when you beat Joe, man, you kind of proved something right there. That was a good proving point.
Yeah, but
When you beat the
I've
Eagles.
had some bad losses though. I blew an 11-point fourth quarter lead.
Oh, this is a tough league, man. Everybody in this league can play.
I know it. I blew a close game to the struggling Redskins at home, missing two field goals. So a lot to prove. I'm out of the playoffs. Out of the playoffs right now.
Good. Yeah, he balled last year. He took over the last part of the last cycle, and he's not no man. He's been playing Madden for a long time. Just fuck around and make the playoffs, man.
That's right. We'll see.
Telling you, Rich.
All right. Anything else to add to this subject?
For disappointing. Since Bengals too, man. Prove that you play the game. You know, prove that you even don't just like writing articles, because the articles are great, man. I love the articles. You know, the articles are amazing, man. You know,
pick up the phone since
I'll send you $1 a month, man. You know, if you send me little reminders, man, I'll PayPal you. You know, right? The articles is cool, bro. But you know, you got to prove that you play the game, man. Because you from last season and then this season, and then some of your comments, and you talking about Dylan in a disrespectful way, bro. Like, nah, man. Like, sorry, dude. You get prove that you play the game, Cincy. You know, let's see some wins, man. See some improvement. Maybe play some ultimate team. But you're all right. Nothing. I don't want to hurt him too much, man. Next question.
All right, we're moving on after that. I hope Cincy didn't tune in. He'll have to see this on the preview.
I hope he does. I hope he does. Maybe that'll be his moment, his Rocky moment. You know.
All right. Who's succeeded expectations?
Prevail, man. Prevail in that defense.
Prevail, Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if he develops some of them weapons, man, yeah, I think he NFC South's gonna be tough, but if you can make it out the NFC South, you can make it in the playoffs. You've been playing playoff teams all year, so you know.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I like Cam Newton, man. I wish I had him on my team.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go. I don't know if I agree with that. I think he's doing all right. He obviously he got a big win over me. He's beat some other folks, some pretty damn good teams. But I gotta go with. There's really 3 teams to me that when I look at the standings, I'm kind of like, damn. I mean, these guys kind of surprised me with how well and really consistent they are. And that's Jay Clint's Broncos, Man of the Wood Rams, and then your boy OMG the Bucks at I think 6-2 if I'm not mistaken. But you got Rams and Broncos 8-1. But again,
here's the thing, Skip. Here's the thing, Skip. All three of those teams, man. If you knew a little history on them, they're all good owners. They all make playoffs. Rams last year, he just couldn't get past the Chiefs. He could have won the Super Bowl, but he couldn't get past one team. So, at all three of those teams, J.C. Clintz, man, I've seen him in other leagues. I've seen him win Super Bowls. Same with OMG. These are Madden vets. So, I feel you. I just, I think from what we've seen and from what I felt, but it's your opinion, bro.
But the last thing, too, is who's the 49ers owner? Is this guy newer to the league? Has he been around for a while? Because he was up there until just recently where he's had a little bit of a bad stretch, falling back down to 6-3. But he was one that a little bit surprised me because there wasn't a whole lot of talk around him, at least preseason. So I don't know if he was newer. I don't know if he had a reputation already of being a pretty respectable player, but he got off to a hot start. He's going through a little bit of a rut, kind of like myself, but he kind of surprised me as well. I think exceeding expectations, if you ask me.
Yeah, I've played him, I think, 3 or 4 times. I have the upper hand. He's beaten me once. He's pretty good. He's decent. I haven't seen him make any strong runs in any leagues. I think he was in our league last year, the second part of the season. I'm not sure if he started, but yeah, I think it's D Lloyd or D Mac, one of those. He's a solid owner.
D Lloyd.
He's got a solid team too. That's the thing. He's got a good team if he develops them right. Doesn't make any trades. Draft some if he actually shows up at the draft. Get some good picks.
All right, let's move on. We got succeeded expectations. Now let's talk about who's failed to meet expectations.
Oh man, Vols. I mean, you're kind of the easy target here. You're kind of the easy target. I mean, I just remember you being a powerhouse back in the day, man. But listen, you're kind of back up 4-2-1. You're in a tough division, so I'll cut you a break here. But for me, I got to go with Mickey with the Jags. Listen, he's in the playoffs if the season ended today, but I thought for sure he'd be up there like a number 1 or 2 seed kind of guy. I played him week 1. It took an overtime kickoff return for a touchdown to beat him on the opening kickoff. It was a tight game, but he's got a top to bottom roster that's stacked on defense, offensively, strong run game. Not a lot of weapons on offense, but I think just enough to be productive on Madden. And he's had a few losses here where, obviously I think he lost to Bread. So I don't know. I thought he'd be a guy that would be at least 6-2, 7-1. But if I'm not mistaken, his record right now is 5-3. So
all right, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there, Sunkissed. Go ahead and take a quick breather, man. Jaguars. If you knew him from last season, if you knew him from years before, if you had a little history with him, he's a good owner. If I scale 1 to 10, I give him like an 8. But when it comes to playoff success, non-existent from what I've seen, and that's in a few years. And he's pretty much doing what he did last season. He's having winning records, hovering around 10-6, 11-5 if he has a good season. But yeah, sorry, I just had to chime in real quick. I felt like I had a little insider info.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, everyone's entitled to, their own opinion, even when it's wrong. But I'm just saying, I thought the guy would be up there, especially with the roster that he has, especially with the roster.
Yeah, well, he's 5-3 in a tough division. 10-6 at the end of the season is not. I wouldn't say that's a disappointment in a tough division. So I'll go ahead and give you mine, and that's the Grand Supreme Pine Cone Collector himself, TBZ and the Cowboys. You have the best offensive line in the league. You have that offensive line. You don't even need Dak Prescott and the rest of them.
What expectations do the Cowboys ever have? What expectations do they ever have?
This is different. This is Madden. This is Madden, and he has 3, elite offensive linemen. No, the Cowboys have. If you have Cowboys are a team, you can use them. There's no excuse. They're not the Jets. You know what I'm saying? They're not some of these other teams that are harder to use. They're not the Jets. They're not the Bills. So sorry. No. He
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I gotta go with Beasley, man. I'm sorry, Beasley. You gotta step it up, Beasley. Hold on, what's his record? I'm looking on it right now.
He's 2-5. He's 2-5. He's not. I mean, he's not up there. But honestly, who would anyone?
You gotta say his offense is Pro Bowl, man. He got all them dudes could be Pro Bowl. The receivers, the running back, the quarterback, the offensive line. The right user.
Let's make no mistake about it. Dak Prescott is having arguably probably the worst season in the history of any Madden online franchise. But the takeaway from that, my friend, is that they still have one more win than the Cincinnati Bengals, which is just sorry.
Yeah, but their team's better. The Bengals offensive line is nowhere near what the Cowboys have. When you have an offensive line what the Cowboys have, you don't have to have the weapons that he has to get yards. You can have basic receivers and basic running backs. You really could. The offensive line, that sets the tone for everything. How much time you get, how the pocket develops, how you have to scramble, running plays, what type of running plays work, what type of running plays you can run. Your offense gets one dimensional, you're throwing picks. And so, the Bengals are one game under them, but the Bengals also don't have that elite offensive line. So that's a disappointment. You got an offensive line like that and you're struggling that bad. No, I'm at the Chargers. My offensive line is mediocre to bad, a little closer to mediocre, but I got Russell Okung and Joe Barksdale and Feeney, and these dudes aren't developed. They're in the 70s in category.
Yeah, they bums. You said Barksdale.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a bum.
They're getting fucking beat on every fucking play. I'm having to block 4, 5, and I have.
Well, you gotta coach them up. You're not coaching them up, man. You gotta hit the practice field, coach them up. But that'll come with time.
But anyways, man, enough. Beezy, man. Period. Beezy, step it up, bro. It's a shame, bro.
Just so you know, BZ, I never had expectations for you, my friend. I never did. I figured you'd be.
Nobody ever did. But he came in talking. He came in, I'm the new BZ, the BZ that developed over the you haven't seen lately, BZ. Came back like he was a big bad Madden guy, and no, not this season, not number one. Hope he gonna make the draft. See you at the draft, BZ. Hopefully.
I'll throw this in about BZ. The only expectation I had of him was to show up for our scheduled game time yesterday, and he couldn't do it. Moving on.
He got good GIS, so I'll give him that.
Hot seat. Who's on the hot seat?
Anyone not scheduling. Straight up. We got waitlist people, man. We got folks that want to be in the league.
That's a lazy answer though. That's an easy answer.
No, that's not. This is a real answer.
Who's on the hot seat? No.
No, that's a real answer. That's the truth. That is the person. Right. So that's a mathematical equation you can figure out. Who's on the hot seat? The person that's having the biggest scheduling issues, or not. That's not even trying. You know what I'm saying? That I would say that first person to get 3 that aren't isn't a tip in the scales. That's period. Because I don't think anyone should be on the hot seat. I think if you play your games, even if you lose,
well, breaking news too. The Steelers just lost again to the Ravens, so predictable. But anyways, we digress. But I gotta tell you, there's 3 teams that came to mind that are on the hot seat. Right, 3 teams. Cardinals. I mean, that franchise is an absolute mess right now. They started 0-5 with an owner who was not even present. Hurricane came through, messed up everything, and then the guy apparently
Fat Pat.
Fat Pat. But Fat Pat apparently still had internet connection and was playing a little Fortnite, Call of Duty, whatever the hell it was. Anyways, point is, wasn't locked in. So then you had just that.
Reason we have Archer. Fat Pat is the reason that since he got Archer Report. So whatever it's called, Archer Watch. That dude is
well, but we'll get to Cincy. But just that good took over. And just that good has been 0-3 since taking over, and things are not getting much better. I mean, I watched one of the games, and just that good's a respectable player. I mean,
the Cardinals aren't a good Madden team. The Cardinals aren't a good, easy Madden team to pick.
They got a baller running back, and that's about it. Offensive line's trash. They have a solid possession
If
receiver.
your offensive line's trash, you're going to struggle, period, especially in this league. Because there's defense and can you pass? Yeah.
And the only thing Larry Fitzgerald's doing is doing a drag route and slant route, and he'll catch it all, but it's only going to be for like 4 yards, right? But so Cards is the easy answer. We're not going to go with the Cards. Let's give just that good the whole season, turn around, give him an off season. We'll see what he happens. But really, the two people that are on the hot seat, really just a bad look for the league, are Mr. Denim and Cincy.
Yeah,
what's the deal?
I just said that. That's funny.
Okay, we got a 1-7 Steelers that has almost a Super Bowl contending roster on paper, right? You got Madden ballers for days, and they can't get it together. And then you got Cincy, who all he did the entire preseason and then the first 1 and 2 weeks was talk up this new roster that he assembled and his defensive line. And like I heard it for days in the chat room.
But if you know Cincy's history, if you remember Cincy's, I've never seen Cincy have much success.
Right. I mean, he talks about Eric Reed at linebacker. He wrote an article about his.
I read an article about us saying this about him because I want to see a Cincy uprising. Make an article called Cincy Uprising.
He goes. He wrote the article like he was like best free agency signing ever, and it was like this.
I think overall. Cincy's on the hot seat. I'm
telling you, Cincy and Mr. Denim. Cincy, that AFC North, the whole AFC North on the hot seat, and especially those two. Ravens at least won today. He's on the up and up. He got Lamar Jackson coming up, but Ben Roethlisberger old, Andy Dalton trash. It's not looking good. Hot seat, Mr. Denim.
Yeah, Lamar. He develops Lamar Jackson, drafts a couple offensive linemen. Right. Man, that team is keep Flacco too. He can keep Flacco into old age as the backup, and yeah,
it's trash. I get mad just talking about AFC North teams though. I'm tired of talking about.
Next question.
All right.
Next.
Moving on. From the hot seat to the halfway MVP.
Man, I mean, I guess I'll take this over to start, and I really got 3 people on the watch list right now. But before I get into them, I will say there's 3 running backs that are really killing it this year. That's Gurley, you got Jones with the Bucks, and then you got Miller with the Texans. So those 3 guys are all doing well, but they're not scoring. I think they're averaging like just under 1 touchdown a game. They all have like 5 or 6 touchdowns at midpoint. So for me, that's not MVP caliber, but they're really running the ball well in Madden. But there's 3 people. Of course, quarterbacks, right? You got Carson Wentz, 20 touchdowns, 17 picks. He really hurt himself, though, when he played the New York Giants. There's my shameless plug right there. He threw 4 picks against the Giants. And I got to
there we go.
A little bit there. It's not really efficient, but he's leading with yards, and he's leading by touchdowns, but only by 1 touchdown to your boy, Patrick Mahomes. And I really like Mahomes right now. 19 touchdowns, and this is it. Only 5 picks. He's got like a 50.
But let me say this. Let me say this.
One last thing. The sleeper for the MVP.
Sunny Delight. He's got 2 sims, and in the sim against me, I think he got 3 or 4 touchdowns. It was like 3 or 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. So I was pretty disappointed in the results of that sim. So not all them touchdowns are accounted for by the user, let's just say. So
that's Mahomes, right?
Give it more to Carson Wentz. Might fit that way.
But hey, out of all these though, Shaq Thompson is my midpoint MVP. This dude is a ball hawk. I played the Panthers. I had 11-point lead, and this guy, this freaking Prevail motherfucker, just users with this dude, and then this is how big of a little goober this guy is. He lets Luke Kuechly do his thing. So Luke Kuechly, I'm just scared of. He's the only Madden player for some reason that I literally like get nervous because the guy just like flies around, and I just get nervous when I look across at Luke Kuechly. But then this dude users with Shaq Thompson, and he's got 13 interceptions. He's on pace for 26 freaking interceptions. That's insane to me. That's MVP. You're getting your offense the ball back. You might score on his. I don't know if he scored any touchdowns on those picks. Probably not, because Madden reverse camera shits cheese. It's really pissing me off, by the way. There should be like 8 more pick sixes this year, and there's not. So it's all trash. But I gotta go. I gotta go Shaq Thompson.
What do you think, Ray? Who's your MVP?
Shaq Thompson.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you, I make a compelling argument.
Yeah, he made it, and I'm gonna leave it at that because
Yep.
everything he said was 100% accurate. What he's doing, I haven't seen since the day. I've seen OMG do it. Frank did it. A couple other people. It's pretty elite from the linebacker position because I use her, but I'm a user in Denzel Perryman. He's slow as shit, but yeah, he's on the block though. He's got 85 strength. Anybody, second round pick, Denzel Perryman, come and get him in the offseason.
Ray in here plugging trade block.
Right. Shameless plug right there.
Anyways, back to the question. Yeah, Shaq Thompson, man. Shout out to Carson Wentz. Shout out to what Joe's doing with him. But just being on the defensive side of the ball proves the user skill. You got to have a different level of stick skills, which Joe has. But he's doing with Shaq Thompson. So there's that.
All right, we'll move on from there. What about when we talk about final postseason award winners? Should we punish people who win awards with multiple Sims? Is what Cincy was curious about. So like Broncos, I know he had a couple people up there in different awards, currently winning them, but he's got 2 Sims. He's won them both. So the Sim tanked.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Thank you, bro. I think there should be levels, kind of like a reward system, but this time it should be for Sims. I think we should take into account people's schedules and work and other things. But ones that are unaccounted for, people just didn't contact each other. I think at the end of the season you should look for it, and yeah, I think it should, because you shouldn't be able to win an award or have your quarterback throwing 4 touchdowns every time you sim. And yeah, that's just not a good look, and you shouldn't be having success if you do stay in the. I don't know if that's possible. Can you take XP from players in CFM or in franchise mode?
I'm not sure. I don't know if that's an option or not. We would have to ask Hotep or Cincy on that one.
Yeah, it'd probably have to be a punishment by like suspension of a player for a portion of games or something. Like say you have something like that.
Yeah, I mean you could definitely say on your third, not really your third sim. I would say maybe on your second sim in a season, you have to, whoever's leading your team in MVP ranking or quarterback ranking, whatever, they have to sit out the game that you sim.
Yeah, or
It's something that I would recommend.
It could be voted on, something like that.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you got to be careful with that, because if they're sitting out the game, then your team's more likely to lose as well, probably, if you have like a backup quarterback or something like that. So, but listen, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You want it to be a punishment. I'm not saying it should be low.
Right.
I give people slack, but I think if you start getting up to 4
if you got
or
a guy,
5 sims,
right? But if you got a guy going to his wedding or something or whatever, like that's an understandable sim that might have to happen.
Right.
Obviously, you got to give the win to the guy who's still at home, right? Because I might have to be playing Vols later this year when he's at his wedding. So obviously, I just get the win. So I think we've all established that. So just kidding there, Vols. Just kidding. So no, but honestly, you do lose credibility. You're going to lose credibility. Like, to me, the Broncos are a little bit of a pretender in my eyes, because they could very well be 5-3 right now, fighting for a wild card. So then they increase their chances to lose because they could be playing a road game week 1 of the playoffs. And that bye week is absolutely crucial in the playoffs. One less chance to lose a fluke game for whatever reason, or getting home field advantage if you like to pass or whatever, and you're playing in freaking Cincinnati in the snow, which would never happen because we'll never make the playoffs. But things like that are crucial. So it absolutely matters that if people are getting wins by sims, and then like you said with stats, that is a little inflated. Or on the other hand, people like, I had a 100-yard game with Saquon Barkley on 10 carries, 2 touchdowns, and then lost connection, had to redo it. And then, Saquon's game, it wasn't even close to that, right? So that stuff hurts XP in the future, right? So you should lose credibility, and, people need to pay the price if it's, just they're not communicating all that stuff. It's not good for the league.
I will chime in real quick and say the Broncos both. I think he simmed 2 games. Both of them were against Brad, and both of them was on Brad. It
And
wasn't.
that's
It was out of his control.
right, right. I mean, right, and that's pivotal though. And so Brad should probably be penalized, not be able to go to the playoffs, and let someone else get a little taste of that Super Bowl, baby.
I
Well, nah,
wouldn't hold
he
your
comes
breath.
back. He comes back, reasonably. That's why I think it should be. You got to put like a threshold on it. If you have 4 sims or more in a season, 4 sim wins. Think about that. That could turn a whole season around. That's the
Right.
difference between 9-7 and 5-11. Or 9-7 or 13-3. It's so maybe if you have 4 sims, you start to.
Kind of cut out
Right.
there, right there at the end, right?
It's okay. We go next subject.
All right. Moving on from that, going to the last topic. Super Bowl. I want Super Bowl predictions from both of you. AFC, NFC winners, and who's
What
going to
I
win the Super
think will
Bowl.
happen, what I think will happen, or what I want to happen.
Both. Make it quick.
All right. What I think will happen, you got Chiefs versus Eagles, and I got to give it to Brett. Like you guys said earlier, I got to give it to him. But what I want to happen is your New York Giants versus your Tennessee Titans, with the New York Giants taking it home, baby.
I probably won't be in the playoffs, but we'll see.
Neither will I.
This wedding's going to screw me, but we'll see.
Yep.
Ray, what are your thoughts?
It's gonna be the Chargers and the Rams. Chargers taking the Super Bowl.
Battle of LA.
And that's what you want to happen, or that you're saying that's what's going to happen?
Both.
Both. I like it.
There it is.
All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap everything up. Thank you both for wanting to be a part of this. Thank you both.
Appreciate you having us, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
it
time,
was a
the questions.
blast. I appreciate
Thank you.
both of you showing up, and we'll get back together and do this hopefully same time next week.
Yeah, you bet, Vols. Good to
All
meet
right.
you, Ray.
Hey, you too, bro. I'll see you in the league, man. I'm sure we'll match up.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, this is Vols signing out. We'll see you next week.